Great. So let me introduce myself, everyone. Hello, welcome. This is Inspiring Insights, actually episode 18 now. We started this back in the summer of 2020, and it's part of a larger vision, which is a company that I created called Reawaken Co. And Reawaken Co. is an online platform for education purposes to really bring to light some great wellness practitioners that are working in the current patriarchal, disempowering, I would say broken system. And we're hoping for more folks to step forward and really create that more intersectionally feminist, more accepting, welcoming approach that really closes the gaps between, I guess, for people who don't have access to healthcare and wellness right now. So our goal here is to showcase amazing practitioners who are doing great work in this area. And I really want to welcome Kim Smith here today. Thanks so much for being on here, Kim.
Thank you, Erin, so much for having me. I'm so excited, and I resonate with everything that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Of course. And just for folks as an aside, I'm really in the business of amplification. I come from the queer community, and, just being marginalized in that way, but also having a lot of privilege in the way that I present as a white-skinned person. I tend to appreciate folks who also resonate with that goal. And I absolutely really love hearing and sharing the passions of their actual work. So thank you again, Kim. For folks who are tuning in right now, as I just mentioned, I'm not sure if you heard, but we do have a little comments section. So go ahead, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. I love to know where you are at in life and geographically as well. And for folks who are watching this replay, we feel your energy, we feel you here. And thank you for showing up for yourself today and learning more about your own health. So, Kimberley Smith, you are an integrative health practitioner, a board-certified health coach, and Kim helps folks deal with mystery cases, mystery gut cases specifically, fixing their digestive issues so that they can finally get rid of their bloat for good. I really appreciate Kim's dedication to really helping people heal. And I'm so glad that she's here with us tonight. Her greatest wish is really to share her own hardship and also, resonate with folks who are chronically ill as well and try to work with them so that they can, really, really get well and feel well within themselves. And Kim, I know that your goal is to, it's important for you to show folks that they know how they can actually feel good and how much energy they can actually have in their lives. So that's really important as well. Our bodies are so powerful and they have incredible healing capabilities. So as your practice goes, when toxicity is removed out of the system, our bodies will then begin to rebalance and return to that equilibrium of health and wellness. So I appreciate that, that lens that you really take. And I wanted to thank you and maybe start off this conversation with a little bit about yourself and how you got here, how I know you have an incredible story and I want other folks to hear it as well.
Yeah, 1,000%. Thank you. So I'm going to give you the short version because It's a long story. So I'm going to try and make it as short and sweet as possible for everybody so their eyes don't glaze over. But
keep it juicy. Keep it juicy.
Keeping it juicy. I will. There's a lot of juicy stuff. So about a couple years after I finished college, I ended up getting really sick. I ended up with a lot of symptoms. Chronic sinus infections is so funny because today you had me going back and revisiting all the symptoms that I had that I no longer have. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Don't have these things anymore. Amazing. I would get chronic sinus infections, skin rashes. Every time I got out of the shower, I would be covered in a rash. extreme fatigue. I could barely get out of bed in the morning. Debilitating brain fog. My brain just felt like a block of cement. Depression, mood swings, chronic inflammation, just so inflamed. And the crazy thing is like I was eating a, quote unquote healthy diet. But everything I ate, I was just reacting to everything I ate. I had bloating, stomach issues, abdominal pain, cramping. I ended up developing cysts on my ovaries. And I ended up having appendicitis, and I had to get emergency surgery to get my appendix removed. And I ended up actually developing this horrific cystic acne that just progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it got so bad to the point that I couldn't even hide it with makeup anymore because my face was just in so much pain. And it's an awful thing to go through. The first thing people see is your face. And I just wanted to like crawl in my bed and hide and not go out to social functions, because of that. So it really affected me. And there was a period, this might be TMI, but I'm going to say it anyway. this is a space for that, maybe, if you're comfortable. But there was a point where I was getting my period every 2 weeks. And then that ended up to a point where I lost my period for over a year. And so I just developed all these symptoms, and it took me about 1.5 years to go through conventional medicine. I saw multiple doctors, multiple specialists. I've been poked and prodded every single place you could imagine. Multiple colonoscopies, endoscopies, CT scans, ultrasounds, transvaginal ultrasounds, X-rays, MRIs. Yeah, you name it. I've had it. And so the whole end of that route after a whole 1.5 years was I had a doctor, a specialist tell me that I have IBS. And so
after all of that,
I sat there and said to myself, well, it took 1.5 years for someone to tell me that my bowels were irritable. And I mean, I could have told you that.
Yeah, right?
So then I went the naturopathic route. And I saw multiple naturopaths. I even went to see traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and that helped. But the naturopath, I saw multiple naturopaths, and basically what was happening is I would get some relief with symptoms. I was spending $400 to $500 a month on nutritional supplements, which is a lot of money.
That's a lot.
And those supplements were not, they were band-aiding symptoms. So it's almost like conventional medicine where you're prescribed a pharmaceutical drug and it's literally masking a symptom, and it's not getting to the underlying root cause of what's actually happening. And so I went down that route. Nobody didn't really find much success there. Naturopathy was essentially just supplementing me to mask my symptoms, similar to what conventional medicine is doing, only from a more natural perspective. And so then I landed up on my teacher mentor. I was listening to a podcast, and he was the guest speaker. And so I followed him, and he wrote a book called The Rain Barrel Effect. And this is the book right here. It literally changed my life. I don't know if anyone's read it here, but I highly, highly recommend. It's well worked in. There's a lot of, as you can see, highlighted pages there.
Some good info in that book.
My go-tos. But this book told me how you get sick from toxicity and how to ultimately offload that toxicity and get well again. And it's more than just toxicity, which I'll explain later on. But so I ended up reading his book. And went to his website. He was doing a course called Integrative Health Practitioner. And it was 2 courses. I took them both and ended up doing functional medicine lab testing on myself and found out that I had, first of all, many things wrong. And these functional medicine lab tests, they literally tell you, they identify the root of what's actually happening inside your body. And so for me, it was mold toxicity was one of the things. I lived in a water damaged building for over 7 years that flooded multiple times. And I didn't see visible mold until I moved out. And it wasn't much. And mold and mycotoxins can be absolutely detrimental to your health. And so it had colonized in my gut. And I also had bacterial overgrowth, pathogenic yeast overgrowth, and heavy metals. So those were the major heavy hitters that I had to start to rebalance and remove. So yeah, and it led me to become an integrative health practitioner. And the thing is like, as I began to restore my health, all these symptoms just started falling away. The chronic sinus infections, I got my period back. Mood swings, depression, mood was like incredible. I'm a completely different person. And I just think it's so like what I really love and want for people and my clients is that you have the ability to rebalance your body, and don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't. Because if I can do it, you can do it. I am not special. I am not special at all. So if I can do it, you can do it. And so don't ever give your power away to somebody and have them tell you that you can't rebalance your body and that you have to be on a medication for life or take this supplement for life, depending what it is. So that's what I preach. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really neat. Your body is so powerful. It has incredibly powerful healing capabilities. So.
Wow, Kim, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. I sat with Kim when I first met her, and we probably sat for an hour and a half or more, just chatting about her story and how incredibly different she is now as a person than, when she was dealing with mycotoxins and everything else that had affected her. And, just to see the growth within you is incredible. And it's really important that you share that story. So thank you. And I'm happy to amplify that. You touch on so many good things. And I'm trained as a naturopathic doctor for all the audience out there. So, I understand that totally that, natural pharmaceutical approach, supplements, it can easily become that, and often patients aren't aware of how long they have to take supplements, or, there's not a treatment plan fully in place, and it really should be in terms of deadlines and everything else. So, tell us a little bit more about integrative health practitioners and what they do, and maybe I can touch on some of the differences between what a naturopathic doctor does versus what an integrative health practitioner does.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. As an integrative health practitioner, I basically take 7 different disciplines, and the best of 7 different disciplines. Traditional naturopathy is one of them, and incorporate them into one. So we have Ayurvedic medicine, bioregulatory medicine, Chinese medicine and herbalism, Eastern philosophy, traditional naturopathy, like I just mentioned, orthomolecular medicine, and functional medicine. And that's where the lab testing comes in with functional medicine. So taking the best of those 7 disciplines, integrating them into one, and essentially I don't treat or diagnose disease, but instead I go in and find the underlying root cause of what's happening in your body, where your symptoms are actually coming from.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really good to know. So IHPs in Ontario, as you said, they don't prescribe, they don't diagnose.
Don't treat or diagnose disease.
Okay, got it. So, okay, I can shed light on that just because from the naturopathic background. So in Ontario, and I know there's some folks like Lily who are tuning in from the US, but here in Ontario, Canada, naturopaths are considered primary care physicians, the same as like a medical doctor would be. And we do, I'm not practicing right now, but speaking in the large terms of naturopathy, we do diagnose and treat disease. And as Kim said, she touched on actually a lot of the pillars that we are actually trained in as well. Some Eastern philosophies, mostly traditional Chinese medicine. There's homeopathy, there's botanical medicine, nutritional, clinical nutrition specifically, lifestyle counseling, and, some other things that kind of just like come up in terms of holistic health. And I like that approach, Kim, because I think that naturopaths and IHPs can really work together, right? And as you said, I think it speaks more to the system that we're in right now, is that folks, preach holism and they still practice in a silo. They don't practice and collaborate with folks. And collaboration mostly looks like writing a letter, right? And saying like, this patient needs these tests done. Can you do them? Can you not? And that's a real big, obstacle for not only practitioners, but also patients, because they're, zigzagging through the system, trying to figure out who's who and what's what and and who does what. So thank you for shedding light on that, I guess. And so in terms of your specific practice, Kim, obviously your background and your lived experience has brought you to, doing mostly gut related conditions and helping folks with that. Tell us about your mystery gut fix.
Yeah. So what I do, so why I chose the gut, just so everybody knows, is that you got to fix the gut first, typically, in order to resolve a lot of these underlying issues and symptoms. So we typically go for the gut first. And once you rebalance your gut, you'll see a lot of these symptoms just start to fade away, drop off, and rebalance themselves. And the process that I use and work with my clients specifically, it's a 3-step process. So I always recommend functional medicine lab testing, because that's going to identify the root cause of what's happening inside your body. I'm here to tell you that blood work tells you only so much, and that we use these other tests to further go deeper and peel back those layers and find out what's happening. Whether it's mold, mycotoxins, whether it's bacterial overgrowth, Clostridia bacteria, invasive candida, the stuff that you don't want to see there overgrown, which can cause a lot of your symptoms, especially gas, bloating, which is a huge one for a lot of people. And heavy metals is another one, which is really big too, for toxicity. And then, so once we remove those toxins, once we identify what the root cause is, once we remove those toxins, and then we supplement what you're deficient in, your body's going to begin to return to homeostasis and balance, essentially. So that's the 3-step process: lab test, remove toxicity, and then supplement what your body's deficient in, and then your body's going to start to rebalance itself. Got it.
And how long is that process normally for, someone who, any of your clients?
So it depends. It's really bio-individual, and it really depends where that person's at that moment in time. When I first take clients on, it's a 4-month commitment to work with me. And then we go from there, if you're fine after the 4 months, and then we continue on from there. So yeah, but some people it could be longer. Health restoration is a marathon, not a sprint. That's how it is. That's the honest truth. I'm here to give you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It is truly, it's a marathon. So it's the long game. But it's all the little things that add up that make all the difference. And a lot of it is coming down to lifestyle changes and choices as well. So I have 8 pillars for health restoration that I use in my practice with my clients.
Great.
Those pillars are diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, supplement protocols, and success mindset. And so all of those things in combination are going to also work on bringing the body back into balance.
Nice. Just for emphasis, can you repeat those? Because I really liked hearing that.
Yeah. So diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, supplement protocols, and success mindset.
Nice. Yeah. Let's not forget the mindset piece. That's
huge.
Pretty big. That's, I would
huge.
say more than half. That's amazing, Kim. And I just actually posted Kim's Instagram handle there in the comments. It's just at Kimberley Smith IHP. That's correct, right, Kim?
Yes.
Yeah, and your name is spelled with a L-E-Y at the end.
That's it.
And there's different spellings of Kimberley. But I wanted to share that because your social media is a really great platform that folks can connect with you. And I actually really enjoy your posts. And so I wanted to maybe shine a light on some of the posts that you've been sharing in the past little while. And because, you mentioned at the beginning, you were dealing with a lot of brain fog issues, that clarity, that cognition. And I think a lot of folks definitely are dealing with that, especially now, working from home, staring at a screen. That's only one of those factors. But maybe you can speak a little bit more to certain posts that I'm going to highlight. So you had one specific that's called brain drain. What's that about? Can you say more?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I'll just shed a little light so people kind of get the background of this. Drainage is a normal, so drainage versus detox. Drainage is the normal pathways in which waste and toxins move through your body and leave your body. Okay. And detox is actually a process that the liver goes through to remove and pull chemicals, toxins out of your body. Okay.
Got it.
So all those posts that I've just posted recently, all of them are on drainage. And if your drainage system is backed up, you're not going to be able to properly process those toxins out of the body. And that can result when you're detoxing, and that can result in things like brain fog. That can result in skin eruptions, rashes, hives, even acne, because it's going into the bloodstream at that point, and it's not going out into the colon from the liver bile duct. So it's going systemic, and it's trying to push its way out as fast as possible. It's trying to get those toxins out as fast as possible. But the brain drain, the lymphatic system, which is actually a recent discovery, I think it was in 2012, but don't quote me.
Super recent.
Yeah, really recent. And so it was discovered that your brain has its own essentially waste removal system. It's called the lymphatic system. And so it's like your lymphatic system. It's removing waste. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. And all of those drainage systems, they all connect. And so at the base, you have your colon. And for health restoration, you should be having 2 to 3 bowel movements per day for health restoration. If you're a healthy individual, you're going to be having 1 to 2. But for people that I work with who have mystery issues and don't know why they're bloated all the time, want to be having 2 to 3 bowel movements. And a lot of people are constipated.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think it's normal to not have, 2 to 3 bowel movements per day, or 1 to 2 bowels per day, or go days without having a bowel movement.
Definitely.
And I don't know about you or anybody else here, but if I don't have a bowel movement in a day, I am cranky and irritable.
Yeah, it's really important to get those toxins out, right?
Yeah.
That's the way that we literally excrete toxins out of our body, besides sweat and everything else. And say if we're not exercising, or not going out for even a walk, it's you have no way to really excrete. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up, because there's so just for folks maybe who aren't actually going at least once a day, where can they start?
I mean, you can try things like, it's kind of a loaded question.
From your perspective, where can they start?
Yeah. Okay. Great starting points. I mean, you can try and incorporate, first of all, you want to make sure your hydration's up. So you're getting half your body weight in water per day, in ounces. Are you hydrated? If you're not hydrated, you can potentially be constipated, right? You want to keep flushing. You want to keep flushing the system. If you're doing that and that's fine, you've got that under control, you can try things like aloe vera. You can try that. You can try magnesium. There's different forms of magnesium. You can try that as well. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. You can try an alkalizing vitamin C, which is just a buffered form, so it's more absorbable by the body. You can try that. You want to make sure that if you're having a hard time digesting food, try cooked meals, and try to stay away from, like, you can do protein, but you just want to be, don't be eating red meat for like 7 days a week.
Yeah, chew your food, make sure you're eating,
chew your food to a paste.
Food.
Here's a funny, it's not funny, it's just what I see all the time is everyone's eating their meal and they're on their phone or they're watching TV. Okay?
It's a huge part of mindful eating.
So, I mean, put your phone away. Okay. If you're in great company, fantastic. That's a great way to be in the parasympathetic nervous system and your rest and digest state, so you can digest that food. But, you're chewing, you want to chew your food to a paste. Okay. Because your saliva contains enzymes that help break down your food. And if your food's cooked, then you can do something called the fork test. That's what I use with a lot of my clients. It's called the fork test. So if you can mush it with a fork, you can digest it really easily. Because a lot of people come to me and their digestive system is just completely compromised, and so they can't even break the food down. So that also helps. Digestive enzymes also help as well, or a bitters, apple cider vinegar. But however, the fermented stuff, if you have gut problems, might not be for you, because that can also make things worse, make your symptoms worse potentially. So might want to stay away from that temporarily. And I mean, that's all where the lab testing comes in, and we find out what the root causes are. And then we can get you a personalized plan to tweak things and make it work for you.
Got it. Nice. Thank you. And I don't know if you want to touch on this, but I was going to ask about lymph drainage as well, and maybe even liver and bile duct drainage, maybe just even like the pathways of that drainage and how it's related to excreting the toxins out of our body.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll definitely focus on the liver. It's the lifeline of your body. If the liver's not functioning well, everything is going to get pretty much backed up. And this is something in my own health journey that really, there's been many aha moments, but this one was huge. And the fact that if toxins aren't, so you have phase 1 and 2 liver detox, and let's just call phase 3 the way waste is removed from the body via the bile, goes in the small intestine and out the colon. So again, when that is backed up, it can go systemic into the bloodstream, and it can affect the lungs, the kidneys, and the skin. So it can put stress on the kidneys. We want toxins to be removed primarily through the stool. That's the more efficient and better way. Otherwise, there can be too much stress on the kidneys and wreak havoc there. So yeah, I mean, if you, all those posts I wrote, there's like so many tips and tricks you can use to focus on your drainage, but sometimes you need a little more help, and that's where supplementation comes in to help with that.
Got it. Yeah, go check out those on Kim's Instagram. She's, again, I'll just repeat it, at Kimberley Smith IHP. Check it out. Okay. I have a few more questions, and then maybe we'll open it up to questions from the audience. I have a live Q&A. So, getting to that root of the problem, and most of it, most of the surface symptoms that folks are having is bloat, right? So, maybe and you already mentioned like a lot, but what are some maybe good foods or good places to start that's like a little bit more accessible than supplements for folks who are experiencing bloat?
Yeah. Honestly, it's all the little things, chewing your food to a paste. Okay. Eliminating the distractions when you eat. I always promote a smoothie for breakfast because it's pre-digested, and your body needs hydration when you wake up. Your body doesn't need, it needs hydration, but it's going to be a lot more difficult for your body to break down like steak and eggs and hash browns and bacon, if that's your traditional breakfast, than a smoothie, right? So there's that. And also like spacing your meals apart, 3 meals a day, maybe a snack if you need it in between lunch and dinner, depending on your body type, right? So that's where that factors in. And depending where you're at in your health, that also factors in. But yeah, cooked foods, especially this time of year in Canada, winter, it's really cold here. We want to be leaning more towards like the soups and the stews, because those are going to be easier to digest and break down. Okay. If you're going to eat salad and it's like minus 30 degrees, it's going to be really hard for that lettuce. It could take 4 to 6 hours to break lettuce down, especially if you don't have enough stomach acid to break it down. And I mean, there is also something called food layering, which it's a little more intricate. But let's just say you ate a salad for lunch, and then 3 hours later, you felt the need to eat something else. Okay. So let's just say you had a green apple. Now that salad might not still be digested yet. And so you're going to eat that green apple, which digests in about 20 minutes, maybe 30 max. And so that's going to basically cause fermentation in the gut, which can cause gas, which causes bloating. And so do you see like the chain reaction there? And so people who their digestion is compromised, they don't have enough stomach acid. And let's think about like, why don't you have enough stomach acid? What's your bile flow situation like? A lot of people, their bile flow is slow and sluggish. And that's helping not only digestion, but it's helping move toxins out of the body too. And a lot of people that suffer from mold and mycotoxins, their bile flow is slow and compromised and is sludgy. And your liver contains thousands of different bile ducts, and parasites can get caught in there. Gallstones can form in the liver bile ducts. And that also causes the bile flow to be sluggish too.
Got it.
So cooked foods, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Cooked foods, space your meals out at least 3 to 4 hours apart, preferably 4. And, don't eat after 2 to 3 hours after dinner, because that's going to affect your sleep. Digestive enzymes with meals is going to help break down that food, can help with the bloating. You could try bitters, you can try apple cider vinegar. And there's other supplementation routes you can go to, but I mean, without talking about the supplements, those are some things you can do. And avoid drinking water with meals. because drinking water with your meals is going to dilute your stomach acid.
Got it. Yeah. And, for folks that are, taking notes and tuning into this, obviously, I would say just like try, these little things are useful. And if you're still experiencing symptoms, then definitely, obviously, go to a practitioner who can help you along the way. And, that coaching and accountability piece is more than half the battle, even just, more than like the magic pill that we could provide for you kind of thing. So thanks.
Yeah. The coaching piece is huge. And a lot of people a lot of this industry is just, there's no coaching. Coaching doesn't exist. It's like, here's your protocol. Okay. Like, here's your results. Like,
right.
They don't thoroughly give you your results. It's just kind of like, here it is. Here's the numbers. They don't even match it up with like who you are, like your story, which is super important.
Yeah.
And because that's how you ended up here. Right. And, they just say, okay, this is what you do. It's kind of like put you in a box and like, here's protocol. Okay, bye.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have like that accountability, right? You don't have those check-ins. And, if you have questions, like they might not get answered right away. And so that's what I really want to offer people is that the coaching piece is really huge. Working through those blocks that come up is so important. And trust me, they come up more often than not.
For sure, right? And change, for change to happen, things are going to get overturned and things are going to get uncovered and it's going to feel uncomfortable. And I don't think, in the process of health, that's not what a lot of people tend to like, right? And that is what sets them back or makes them take a backward step and say, no, maybe this is not for me. So that piece of active listening and coaching is so, so important. Who is the author? Just track going back, Kim, who's the author of that book that you had talked about?
Yes, Marissa. His name is Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Stephen Cabral. Okay, cool. So we are approaching question period. I actually just wanted to get folks to make a note. Just below the polls in the chat there in the menu, there's a files option. Go ahead and click on that files. I just activated Kim's very own toxicity quiz. So you can actually take that quiz and see your toxicity levels. It's a great starter, a great place to start, I guess, if you're concerned about your toxicity in terms of, like Kim mentioned, maybe even you have candida, maybe there's mycotoxins like mold. Who knows what's lurking beneath all those symptoms. Anything you want to add on the toxicity quiz, Kim?
Yeah. So if somebody is, they want a starting point, that toxicity quiz is amazing because it's going to tell you, what your toxicities are, and you'd be shocked. Like there's a lot in that quiz and those things add up. And so that's also going to tell you how internally toxic you are. And I don't want to leave you hanging and be like, get you to fill out a quiz and it's going to tell you how toxic you are, because that's a little depressing, right? And not be able to, get rid of those toxins. So the first thing I do typically with my clients, depending where they're at, is we do a functional medicine liver detox. And so based on that toxicity score, it's going to warrant doing a 7, 14, or 21 day functional medicine liver detox. And just as a little aside, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, I don't need a detox. My liver's doing that. My liver's filtering my blood every 6 minutes. My body's detoxing all the time. But the problem is that we're so heavily bombarded today with all these external toxins, glyphosate being a massive one. Okay. And that wreaks havoc on your body. And so we have to begin to remove these toxins so that it'll start alleviating your symptoms and also clear the liver pathways, because that liver, like I said, the lifeline of your body, it's filtering out all those toxins all the time. It's got to filter out all the endotoxins inside. It's got to filter out all the exotoxins coming in. So yeah, there's a lot. It's the air we breathe. You know, but the thing is that you can't live in a bubble. And so if your toxicity level is like up here, we want to bring it down so that you can, you know, manage these things, right? And live your life.
Yeah, actually create the conditions for your body to go ahead and heal itself, right? For folks who are listening to this in the podcast format, I'll go ahead and put these links in the show notes, but I did just activate Kim's liver detox protocol as well. It's just under the offers section here on the webinar. Any questions right now? I have one last question, but I'll open up to the floor and see if folks have any more questions to ask Kim directly. It's a beautiful time that we're living in right now for folks that actually interact on a worldwide scale with these great practitioners that we're hosting. So, you know, ask away if you have something that you really are burning to know about. Now's your time. And as I said before, maybe some folks missed it, but you can message us privately and we'll just be sure not to mention your name or anything when we're answering these questions. So I'll leave you folks to just think about that for a sec, put on your thinking caps. I have one specific question for you, Kim, that came up as you were talking about testing. And so you do testing when a client comes to see you. I guess if I were a client, you know, working with you, what's maybe the first step in terms of testing that I can mentally prepare for?
Mm-hmm. So it's honestly so bio-individual. And it's based on your story. It's based on your background, your story, and what your symptoms are. And then I'll basically order the lab tests in order of importance as to what that individual would want to do and proceed with.
Got it.
You know, the lab testing is optional. It's completely optional. But in order to find out what's happening inside your body, in order to find out those root causes, we need to test, we need the data. Otherwise, you're just guessing.
Yeah, otherwise it's trial and error.
Yeah, and you'll be like me, who's spending, you know, $500 on supplements a month. And it's just like, where are we going? We're just like in circles here. And we're not actually like, I use the pull the thorn out analogy. You know, like we want to pull out that thorn, right? We don't want to put a Band-Aid over it. So that's where the testing comes in really massively. And then there's always, with protocols, there's an order of importance to eliminate these things. So like myself, I had mold, I had bacterial overgrowth. Okay, I had candida, I had heavy metals. So there's a certain order we want to remove those things first, right? So it's like this progression. So that it's, you know, this smooth, streamlined process. There is ups and downs, but.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, anyone, especially yourself, knows that, you know, the progress of returning to whatever we deem as healthy for ourselves isn't rarely linear.
Yeah, no, there's many ups and downs, but the cool part is I've made all the mistakes that you could imagine, so that you know, my clients don't have to go through those.
Nice. Yeah, and you're happy to share them, so that's amazing. We have a question coming in. Let me read it. Says Lily says, thanks, Kim. This was amazing. Question about the liver detox protocol. Would you need to modify the protocol at all? I'm asking particularly for me. I'm 24, have been healing from adrenal and hormone imbalances and gut issues.
Yes, Lily. Amazing question. So the detox, so with the detox, you get a little pamphlet,
which you have on hand?
Conveniently have right here.
Amazing.
That. I have done I've almost done about 10 of these. And this functional medicine liver detox is amazing. So yes, you'll get a little pamphlet like this with it. Comes with instructions, okay? So you can kind of see there. I don't know if you can see, I hope you can, but this is a 7-day kit, all right? And you get a shake powder and you get some supplements with it. One will be titled AYU Detox, which stands for Ayurvedic. It's an Ayurvedic formula. That formula is going to help with phase 1 and 2 liver detox, but it's also going to help move the bowels. Okay, so it's really important that we're moving the bowels while we're detoxing. And then you get a bottle of FM detox capsules, and those have specific nutrients and amino acids to convert phase 1, to convert fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins, phase 1 to phase 2. So they can be excreted through primarily the stool, urine, lungs, so some light exercise, and the skin, so sweating as well. And so in Lily's case, I think she's asking, there's 2 fasting days incorporated in there where you're just doing the shake powder and water all throughout the day. And so a lot of people get, first of all, not a lot of people have fasted before that long. And the whole point of that is to put your body into something called autophagy, where your body's going in and cleaning up, it's cleaning house. So it's cleaning. When you have less coming in, it's going to be cleaning all the dead cells and waste. So it's going to be cleaning that up. And that powder, first of all, there's 15 grams of vegan pea and rice protein in that powder. And also it's a multivitamin essentially. So it's going to give you all your nutrients for the day and a little bit of protein. So there's no muscle wasting. And you are satiated. You're pretty satiated through the whole time. I mean, day 2, you're probably like, okay, maybe I want to eat, but then you just go to bed early, and you'll be fine. You might be a little low blood sugar the next day, but that's typically normal, and you'll just be getting that next shake in and, on your way to lunch on day 3. But just to answer your question, Lily, you don't have to do the fasting days, okay? You can do things like adding, these are little tricks that I tell my clients. So when you work with me, you get a fully customized detox plan, but I tell people they can add, you can add a little bit of unsweetened nut milk to your shakes. You can add some like a quarter to a half a cup of wild blueberries, organic, to give you a little more substance. You can do that. Absolutely. You can do 1 fasting day. So if you get through the 1 day, that's amazing. Day 2, you're like, I can't do this. I can't push it. I'm starving. Then have a meal, have a lunch, have a dinner. So it's totally, it's up to you and how you feel. Listen to your body. It's really important to listen to your body. If you feel like you're going to pass out, which that's not typically, I've never had anybody have that happen. But you can feel free to have a meal, add berries. It'll boost your blood sugar a little bit. Yeah. So that's my suggestions. You can just listen to your body. Listen to your body. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do, I will say doing the fasting days is going to give you the most benefits of detoxing in the 7 days.
Got it.
Just with the autophagy.
Thanks for that question, Lily. And thank you, Kim. We have another question here. How often should someone detox? Also, should I still be taking my vitamins while I'm detoxing?
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing question. So I recommend doing it quarterly. Okay. I do it quarterly now, and just a 7-day. So I do a 7-day quarterly. And so for someone who does the toxicity quiz and their toxicity score is like off the charts high, and there is a ranking there in the quiz, so you'll be able to tell. It's 3 stages, stage 1, 2, 3. If you're in stage 3, I recommend a 21-day. And that's going to give you are going to honestly notice so much change. Okay. This thing balances your hormones. Okay. there's some weight loss as a result of it. Also, like, rebalances your sleep. If you go to my Instagram and go under Aura Ring, I've done so many tests with the functional medicine liver detox. I even have a highlight on my Instagram that says FM detox, I think. And I've posted on there like every day, my meals, I do my blood sugar. You don't have to do your blood sugar, but I just do that because I'm a nerd and I just want to show people what this thing does, because I like seeing the data. And then I track my sleep with Aura Ring on the Detox, and my deep sleep scores are better. My REM is better. Okay, quality sleep is huge in recovery and detoxification. So if you're in stage 3, I recommend doing it. If you've also never done this before, 21 days, hands down. Recommend doing it 21 days. So it's 3 7-day kits, 3 weeks in a row, and you will see phenomenal results. I remember doing this for the first time, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like, I feel, this is at the end of the 21 days. I'm like, I feel internally lighter. She's like, what does that even mean?
Oh, I love that.
So when I tell people you feel internally lighter, they have no idea what that means. Mm-hmm. And I can only best describe it as like your organs weigh nothing.
Less bloat for sure.
Yeah, but your internal workings literally weigh nothing. Like, you could go run so fast. Okay,
nice.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It's such a cool experience. So until you do it, you won't know what that feels like quite yet. But when you do, you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, I know what she's talking about. This is crazy. So stage 2, I would do 14 days. Stage 1, you can just do a 7-day, because you're pretty much there. You just need upkeep. Hopefully that
and what about vitamins?
And the vitamins,
like any other vitamins that folks are taking?
So you're going to want to keep your supplement regime kind of minimal. And especially if you're taking a multivitamin, you won't need to take that, because the shake powder is a multivitamin with 15 grams of vegan protein. Okay. So it's covering all your bases with the multivitamin there. So if you're taking a multivitamin, I would recommend stopping that while doing the detox. If you're taking things like omega-3, digestive enzymes, vitamin D, D3, what else? Those are foundational supplements, and like, you can still take those. But just keep your supplement regime, like, it really depends what you're doing and where you're at, to be honest. I don't want to tell you to stop taking all your supplements, but the multivitamin, for sure, you won't need to take, because you're getting that. So that's what I can speak confidently on.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, yeah, I mean, it depends on every person. And obviously we can't get into like the nitty gritty details of everyone's lives here that are asking questions, but yeah, as a good like overview. And I would say, just as a disclaimer, don't do any of this without some supervision from a healthcare professional. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're working with a practitioner, or, I advise checking with your doctor. If you have any underlying liver issues, definitely check with them first before you proceed with this. But it's typically safe for the majority of people to do.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. Kimberley Smith, everybody, Integrative Health Practitioner and board certified health coach. As always, if you do have any more questions, or if folks are tuning in on the replay of this and they have questions, just type it in the box there. It should get emailed directly to me. Or as always, message one of us on Instagram at Kimberley Smith, IHP, and I'm at the Erin Edwards on Instagram as well. So this has been episode 18. Thanks again, Kim. Any last words?
Thank you, Erin. Thank you for having me so much. I had so much fun. I hope this was fun for everyone who tuned in, and for everyone who's listening in the future. I hope you learned a few things, and I just empower you to take back control of your own health, and just know that you ultimately have the power to do that. And I just want to leave a little quote by
yes, please.
Somebody. Dr. Jay Davidson said this in a recent seminar that I was watching. He said, you accept suboptimal and you think that this is what normal is. And so health restoration is all about peeling back those layers and really, really finding what's underneath. And as you begin to restore your health, you'll you're like, oh my God, you'll get to this level. You'll be like, oh my God, this is what this feels like. This is crazy. And then you'll want to keep going further, and you go further, and you'll feel better, and you'll feel better. And, I think just as society, we're just conditioned that as we age, we're supposed to feel those aches and pains and just live with this stuff these symptoms for the rest of our lives. And that's not the case. I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. So I empower you to find somebody that, if you're looking to work with a practitioner, find somebody that you resonate with, because that is huge. It's so huge. So yeah.
Great, wise words of wisdom from Kimberley Smith. Thanks again, everyone. That's a wrap for episode 18, Reawaken Co. Inspiring Insights. We're here every Wednesday doing these lives, so be sure to check us out. Follow us on Instagram. We have a podcast. We have Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. Just type in on any sort of search engine, Reawaken Co. Inspiring Insights. Thank you so much for everyone for attending, and I'll see you again.
Thanks, everyone.